there are few things more infuriating than being lied to by your own government, the government you pay for, the one your ancestors risked their lives to protect. Has that happened to you? Of course it has. It enrages you. But if it happens again and again, if it happens often enough, if your government makes a habit of lying to you, then over time it becomes something else. Over time you realize you're not really living in a democracy. You can't be. Because in a democracy, the government has a moral and legal obligation to tell you the truth always. Period. And that makes sense because in a democracy, you are not a subject or a mere consumer. You're a citizen. You are a shareholder in the system. You are an owner of it. The people who run your government are your employees. They're like your cleaning lady. You may appreciate the work they do. Good job. But the minute you catch them stealing your cufflinks, you fired them. Those are the rules because it's your house, not theirs. But what if the rules were inverted? What if you caught an employee stealing, but instead of seeming ashamed and penitent, he whipped around and attacked you, like you were the criminal? Well, that is the experience of watching White House spokesman John Kirby talk about the destruction of the Nord Stream pipelines. Anyone who imagines, who thinks for a moment the Biden administration was in any way involved with that sabotage, directly or indirectly, is not simply wrong. No, anyone who imagines that is a bad person, a tool of Vladimir Putin. Watch.
Did the U.S. or a proxy for the U.S. have anything to do with the explosion on the Nord Stream pipeline?
The United States had nothing to do with it. That's just Russian propaganda and disinformation. Now, we know it was an act of sabotage, but there's an investigation going on right now. I don't think we're going to get into credentialing that in terms of who was responsible. We're going to let the investigators take a look at that, but clearly this was an act of sabotage.
All right, so you can officially say that the U.S. was not involved in any way in this attack?
That's right. That's correct.
Not to belabor this, but for the people who look at this and say, why would Russia attack its own pipeline that creates leverage over Europe and perhaps the West, what do you say to them?
Again, I can't speak to specific accountability for this act of sabotage. I can just assure you the United States had nothing to do with it. Of course, that's just Russian propaganda.
So notice Brett Baer asked the question, did the U.S., did the Biden administration, or any of its proxies have anything to do with the sabotage? To which John Kirby says, we didn't do it, and then moves right to the point, which is anyone who says we did it is repeating Russian propaganda. That's what John Kirby said. It's disinformation from quislings more loyal to Vladimir Putin than their own country. That's the kind of thing that only truly bad people say.